a whole lot more.
Well, it wasn't
That wasn't
hilarious.
swift
avoid
either.
surgery,
It was
injections, and
pretty
drugs.
horrible, actually.
All
but-
the largest, most
Happens
experienced
all the time in those
laser
hearings.
centers in
Yep,
Michigan.
and that
They have
was,
locations in Bloomfield, Brighton, and Shelby
pretty
County.
unacceptable for people who have been, quote unquote, elected to represent the
Call
people.
800-935-5959 or visit
That's why our
RestoreWellnessCenter.com.
situation is so bad.
Restore
I'm afraid.
Wellness Center. What do you need restored?
We have hired a bunch of idiots.
Dick Hafner, WJR News. And now, Paul W. Smith.
The Paul W. Smith Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is the 30th of July, the 212th day of 2020. There are 154 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. What a gift it is to be here with the team. Starting with Dick Hafner, our WJR news director, who has presented the news amazingly as the news, which we so appreciate. Of course, Dana Clark is here to live, to love, and to laugh.
That's right.
And to give us our WJR traffic and weather along the way. Brian Morton is in the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building, a place I visited for the first time in about 4 months. Day before yesterday, and good to see the old place, but it was empty.
Yeah.
Frankly, you go by a salespeople's desk and you see what day in March they all left. Their calendars are still there. And I was telling this to, I think it was to our boss, Mike Wheeler. I think it was to Michael. I shouldn't give a quote to somebody. They said, "Our salespeople still use paper calendars?" I think that's what they. I think that's what he said. Somebody said it to me, and it was a funny line at the time. So Brian's back there with his paper calendar and his computer, I'm sure. And our executive producer, Ann Thomas, is here.
Good morning, Deb. Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve to you. And I ran Kim ragged yesterday with everything I had to run around and do, and she helped me do. So she's still toes up.
Driving Mr. Daisy.
She was driving Mr. Daisy everywhere around.
That woman's an angel.
Right.
Big story, big opportunity. And of course, as we've tried to build a history of doing over the last many, many years here at WJR in the morning show, we'll have the newsmakers on. This is a very busy show today, including the governor talking about tightening the screws, tightening the situation of opening the casinos, but tightening it up north, which we have people from up north. Tim High involved with the whole community up there at Mackinac Island as their public relations guy, and they're very concerned. But here's the big story of the day, and an important one for Detroit, and that is the announcement that the Consumer Electronics Show for 2021 has been canceled, which opens the door for the Detroit Auto Show. The North American International Auto Show in Detroit for June of 2021 has just been given a large gift and opportunity to reverse the trend that's happened over the last several years, where when we had our auto show in January, and one of the reasons we moved it was because we were losing people to the Consumer Electronics Show. Now, Rod Alberts, the head of that of our Detroit Auto Show and the DADA, will be with us this morning, and we'll find out what plans he has to grab that segment that's going to be available that wants to introduce new items like they did in January in Las Vegas. That may be happening in Detroit with our auto show in June. Think about that for a moment. That's a really big opportunity that could be ours. And so Rod will be here, and we'll find out if that's what he's planning on. It's all brand new news, just announced yesterday. We've got Rod Alberts today. It is 5:42 on this Thursday morning edition of the Paul W. Smith Show at WJR.
This report is sponsored by the podcast True Romance.
Hi, I'm Devin Leary.
And I'm Carolina Barlow.
And we're here to tell you to dump him.
Break up with your boyfriend.
It's time.
Find True Romance wherever you get your podcasts to find out why.
Oh, and I can't wait for the new podcast, Your Open Heart Surgery, here on the radio. It is 5:42 as, virtual open heart surgery. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
We've got our WJR traffic and weather first, and we've got Dana.
Traffic First sponsored by Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Attention new car buyers. Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is offering exclusive lease savings on its entire inventory of new Jeep Compasses, Cherokees, and Grand Cherokees during the Jeep Summer Clearance event. Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Hall Road in Clinton Township. Just show up, sign up, and ride. Construction 75 southbound at Clark Street. The entrance and exit ramps closed for that road work through September 18th. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Metro Detroit chapter of Sheet Metal and Air Conditioning Contractors National Association, SMACNA. SMACNA contractors fabricate, install, and service heating and cooling, ventilation systems, build metal roofing, and much more for your commercial, industrial, public, or residential project. They take all the necessary precautions, getting the job done right and on time. Hire Detroit's best. Visit smacnad.org.
Not a bunch of rain around today. Certainly not enough to mess anything up outdoors and keep the roads pretty dry. Just a passing shower this morning with a cloudy sky. Mostly cloudy, maybe a passing shower this afternoon. High 83. Tonight we'll see the sky become partly cloudy, 63. Friday looks pretty good. Partial cloud, sunshine with a high again near 83. From a Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
And let's check in now with the guy who keeps us informed and entertained from noon till 3 every weekday on WJR at 5:44. He stops by to say hi, Rush Limbaugh.
According to the ferret-like New York Times columnist Paul Krugman, the cult of selfishness is killing America. Now, what is he talking about? Well, according to the ferret-like Krugman, coronavirus deaths in America are higher than deaths in the European Union or Canada. He thinks that's because President Trump and Republican governors like Ron DeSantis in Florida insisted on opening the economy too soon. They were selfish. They put economic growth over people's lives. The ferret-like Krugman says that Trump and his allies just want high jobs numbers. They don't care about people dying of the coronavirus. Now, this is a kind of rot gut dribble that permeates every corner of the drive-by media. Now, I'm willing to bet that the ferret-like Paul Krugman didn't lose one night's sleep worrying about how he was going to pay for food or clothing or shelter or other basics during the shutdown. This is a guy who doesn't have to meet payroll. He doesn't know the pain of putting everything he has into a small business only to watch it die because some elected liberal is playing politics. The ferret-like Krugman still has his job spewing asinine leftist talking points. Now, look, Krugman, it isn't selfish to keep the American economy afloat, even during a pandemic. It's a necessity. You want to see selfishness in action, Mr. Krugman? Grab a mirror and take a deep look.
Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3 today, right here on WJR. I can't tell. Does he like Krugman or not like Krugman? Oh yeah.
I don't think he cares for him so much. Hey, now it's early. And I'm tired, so I need you to explain further. I'm not following this. So, how would the CES show canceling actually help us?
Because we can step up and say, just like the Consumer Electronics Show a number of years ago started featuring automobiles. Mm-hmm. Remember going back to I can't think of his name. Anyway, we started getting auto CEOs being the keynote speakers.
Yes.
At the Consumer Electronics Show. I can't remember who it started with, but that was a shot across our bow that they were really trying to expand into the auto world, and the auto world welcomed that. And we started doing a lot of things at the Consumer Electronics Show that we used to do at the Detroit Auto Show. It started going out to Vegas. Because it was a bigger, different venue, and they got a lot of attention. So there are a lot of things that we can do at the auto show that will invite those electronics companies
next June.
Because next year's CES show has been canceled. The 2021 show, which is supposed to be in January,
right?
They said, "Oh, that's too close. We don't know. We're going to cancel." So June, when our new auto show happens, we'll ask Rod.
No, that's
Alberts
a very good point.
I'm just
Because
saying that's
what you're
my
saying,
belief.
Even if they do stuff online, because it's electronics, they may still be tempted to come to Detroit next June and do some of those, show us some of those innovations. Yes.
The displays they already had planned on spending money on.
Yeah, this is
in
a good
Vegas.
Point. Yeah.
So the money has been allocated for the show.
Right.
There's just no show. So they're gonna need to spend that money in other ways, and it'd be nice if they spent it our way. So I'm just saying. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I think it's a good, interesting observation.
This day in 1975 is the day Jimmy Hoffa went missing.
Wow.
This day in 1975, I was graduating from Michigan. Look at how many different things were going on back then and how much time has gone by, and we still haven't had
we don't know
a good answer. I feel sorry for the family, although Jimmy Hoffa, the son, has told me in the past that the family had to deal with this a long time ago. And it's painful every time somebody says, he's under that basketball court. And then they dig up and they do all this stuff. It's been painful because the families had to put this behind them. You can imagine years ago. Years ago. So, but this happens to be the day. You can't change history as much as people want to by toppling down statues and other things. You cannot really change history. So that's that. That's our part of our history, unfortunately. What do you guys think? Do you think that Dr. Fauci, though he hopes it's not the case, that the question is, are the Miami Marlins the tip of the iceberg in baseball?
Dana, what do you think?
What's Trevor think?
Yeah, Trevor thinks this is a moment by moment. He thinks the rest of the season is going to be. He's waiting for the big explosion, I should say.
The other shoe to drop.
Yes, that's exactly how he said it.
Or we should say the other cleat.
Whatever.
They still work cleat.
Yeah, he thinks that this is not gonna go much longer.
Really?
So if more players start to get it around the league, it's gonna be big trouble. So he goes every night and is just like sitting there with nobody there. It's so weird.
Weird.
So very weird. And the NBA starts tonight.
I hate to say this, but it's got to be. Well, I don't know. I'm just going to think out loud. It's a lot. It has a lot to do with what these players are doing in their off time, and if they're social distancing, if they're masking, if they're washing their hands. Because hockey is going along.
Well, they have a bubble. The NBA and NHL have a bubble. MLB, they're going out.
They're going out.
You're hearing the Paul W. Smith Show.
Kids with money.
760 WJR.
Exactly.
On this Thursday morning edition, the 30th of July, we're sitting here and we're talking about things that are happening. The CES, the Consumer Electronics Show for 2021, canceled. So maybe the DADA has a better chance of grabbing some of that audience. Could be a big boon for us. We'll talk to Rod Alberts about that. We talked about the baseball and the Miami. Is that just one team, or is that what it's going to look like for a lot of teams? And therefore, what kind of a baseball season, shortened though it may be, are we going to have? Don't know that either.
The other thing is the NFL and college football. It's just around the corner.
Yeah. Colleges it's going to be tough. Because you're dealing with kids and responsibility and liability. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. And I say that with a heavy heart as a season ticket holder for my alma mater. I as much as I want it to happen, if it happens, it'll be merely a shadow of itself. How do they decide who gets to go and who doesn't? What figure the casinos, they'll have 15%.
Right.
You're gonna have blackjack tables all to yourself. If that's what you've always wanted, you're going to get it.
Right.
But then the percentage at football games, how are they going to decide what 20% or whatever it is are going to be allowed to go. And I mean, it's just miserable. I swear, if everyone would just wear a mask and wash their hands and social distance for just a few weeks altogether, we would get rid of this thing. And don't we all want to get rid of it? Isn't it worth the sacrifice of a mask and social distancing and hand washing and all the rest of it? I think it's well worth it.
You're right.
And it's not that hard to do.
No, I mean, come on.
If you look at wearing a mask as just wearing a mask, sometimes a mask is just a mask and not a political statement.
Right.
I think you'd be far better off. I'll tell you what, I was in a hospital most of the day yesterday, and they got that place. This was Henry Ford, and they do it right there. Locked down, man. Get your temperature, ask the questions. Have you had a temperature? Have you had this? Have you had that? Have you been around people? Have you traveled internationally? Blah, blah, blah. They go through all of that. And then you get in and everyone's wearing a mask, and you bet you're wearing a mask. And I had a doctor, Dr. Singla, wonderful guy, young guy, who said to me, he feels completely safe coming into work. It's when he has to go to a grocery store that he gets nervous, because he walks in and all those people don't have masks. Not everybody's wearing a mask.
That's right.
And so it's a much more.
The number of hospital employees who have come down with coronavirus is amazingly low, even though the most serious coronavirus patients are in the hospitals.
There it is. And besides the fact that for some of them, as much as someone wants to say this, the hydroxychloroquine might be helping in that secondary study at Henry Ford, where they're trying it out on doctors and nurses on the front line to see if it keeps them from getting, why is it that now there are still people, including Fauci, saying it's not been shown to help anybody? When we know of a study in our backyard, Henry Ford isn't going to lie to us and say, oh yeah, it helps people, when it doesn't. Why do they keep this going? Why do they keep everybody's politicizing everything about this? And that's part of the reason why you have the never maskers. People have politicized it. They think it shows that they're not backing the president, or they are backing. I don't even know what they think anymore. Don't think, wear a mask.
Right. Right.
Stop thinking. Wear a mask.
But when you have congressmen like Louis Gohmert saying that the mask made him sick, that doesn't help either.
Well, there's a lot of things we've seen congressmen do in the last few days that do not help us feel comfortable about our leadership in Washington again and again and again and again. So some guy blubbering away, it hardly affects me anymore. I mean,
I'm just afraid it might affect some people. They might actually think, well, he's right,
Right.
Yeah, people who don't want to wear a mask and who want to believe that it does harm them good, they're going to say, see, I told you. And I just ask that you look at the guy, listen to him, and then say, that's the guy I'm going to get my medical advice from?
Oh, boy.
Well, given that he's a member of the Flat Earth Society, I'm telling you, the Earth is flat. I know. I've been on an airplane. I looked out. I can see the Earth is flat.
He was supposed to be traveling with the president. That's how they found his coronavirus. They tested him.
They tested him like they test everybody who's going to be around the president.
Who's going to be right?
Yeah.
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 They're doing well. I was going to say the FDA is opening the door to rapid at-home testing. So I don't know. How do we feel about that?
You mean the tests that have been proven not to be accurate?
That test.
Let's give everyone that test.
Right.
More money to be made for us.
Exactly. Buy it at home.
Yes, indeed. It still get out of bed, please. Still get out of bed.
Yeah.
We had to. So
you
have to. It's a beautiful day ahead of us. 5:57 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by the podcast True Romance.
Hi, I'm Devin Leary.
And I'm Carolina Barlow.
And we're here to tell you to dump him.
Break up with your boyfriend.
It's time.
Find True Romance wherever you get your podcasts to find out why.
I always think they're going to say to find out why, and then they're going to say here's how or whatever. But I guess they're saying to find out why you should dump him.
I guess. I don't know.
Everybody can have a podcast, and just like everyone can have an opinion. Unfortunately, they can't all be right, like our opinions. Let's check the WJR traffic and weather first. Miss Dana Clark.
Traffic first, sponsored by Restore Wellness Center. Are you experiencing nagging body pain, tired of taking medication for relief, neck and back arthritis, tendonitis, muscle soreness, and more? The Restore Wellness Center can help relieve or eliminate the pain completely and get you back to work. Reserve your appointment today. Call 800-935-5959 in Brighton, Shelby, and Bloomfield, or restorewellnesscenter.com. So just looking at that construction along 75 southbound at Clark Street, both the entrance exit ramps are shut down through September 18th. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet, where you pick out the vehicle you would love to drive and receive a worksheet with 18 different purchase and lease payments for you to choose from. And do this from the comfort of their outdoor showroom with covered patio seating. Gordon Chevrolet on Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City, GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads. Going to be cloudy today, some peaks of sunshine, hopefully, but looks dry, a high of 81 tonight. Few clouds, low 64 to kick off the weekend on Friday. Sun and clouds and a high of 82. Currently mostly cloudy, 70 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 1 minute. Paul W., how was your checkup?
Everything went well. I got all good grades.
Oh, good.
There's some things they have to do checks, that take a week or two in the laboratory, but everything seems to be so far so good.
Good.
When you come out of something like that, you don't want your doctor to come in like looking down at his feet,
not looking happy,
looking at you like, how do you feel?
Right.
Nothing like that. And he was positive. This doctor, Summit Singla, it's the same doctor who did this procedure 2 years ago, and he's just a great guy. His dad's a doctor, and he's a doctor, and he's just a great guy. I feel nothing but confidence in him, and any of the other doctors. Right? We should have him on to talk about how because there are still so many people who are not going to the doctor's office and or the hospital for procedures because they're scared to death. And I don't blame people for being scared and careful, but you can't be scared to the point of where you are so set on avoiding the coronavirus that you let other things that just are naturally happening not be dealt with. That's very dangerous, and they have every indication that that's happening. You have signs of a heart attack, you should go to the hospital. You should be taken to the hospital. There are any number of signs you might have or problems that your primary care physician has said you need to go get this test or that. You need an x-ray, you need an MRI, you need a this, that, whatever. And people are afraid to go do that. And I think he can assure us with some degree of expertise and experience that it's safe to go. It's okay to go. But I got to tell you this, out in the world of hospitals, with all of the things we've heard that are going on at the Detroit Medical Center, at Beaumont Health System, I mean, there's our hospitals are, a lot of them are have their hands full is the best way. I don't know another way to put it. They have their hands full with things that are going on and issues that they're dealing with. And at the moment, at least, Henry Ford Health System seems to be free of all of that kind of conversation. Thank goodness. I mean, because we have some of the best hospital systems in the world right here in Detroit, and we want them to be and continue to be the best health systems in the world. So we hope that all those issues and problems and potential problems get fixed for all of our sakes, Besides the fact that there are thousands of jobs that are tied into these wonderful hospitals.
And the hospital rankings just came in, and I believe every hospital that you mentioned has gotten some kind of an award, and also the University of Michigan Health System. So you're right. We really do have great hospitals.
Another great one
in this area. You don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You can just pick one of these because they're
we are
really good.
lucky. And frankly, I just wonder why we don't, in our Pure Michigan campaign, stress the beauty of retiring in a great state like Michigan. Because
good idea.
when you retire, if you're going to move, you don't have to, but especially if we live in Michigan, but if you're going to retire and move somewhere, it's always been Florida or Arizona because of the weather. But I have to tell you, you could pick right here in Southeast Michigan as a great place because, and you play off the idea that you get all 4 seasons, sometimes in 1 week. You get all 4 seasons.
Sometimes
one day.
In 1 day. And people of retirement age still appreciate the seasons because that's how they grew up and that's what they remember. You get all 4 seasons, but you also get some of the best healthcare in your backyard in the world. People come from around the world to go to our hospitals, and you include in that University of Michigan Medical Center, and you say, not a bad place to live, especially when you get older and you might start having some issues that need extra special attention. We ought to broach that subject a little bit.
That's a good idea.
With Pure Michigan, I think. It just occurred to me. But
right.
How about those hearings with the guys from Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook?
Oh, I didn't see those. Was it funny?
One of the congressmen was so confused. I would have been. I admit I would have been. I don't remember who's got what going on, but this guy was like drilling one guy about something that was on Twitter. And the guy finally said, well, Congressman, I'm sorry. You're talking about Twitter. I can't really speak to that because I don't run Twitter, you moron.
Right. I'm with Facebook. No.
but he didn't say that because you're not supposed to say that to a moronic congressman.
Right.
When did we stop calling moronic congressman? Anyway, so I got kind of a kick out of it because I wouldn't know who's for sure in charge of every little thing there in social media, but I wouldn't be holding a hearing like that.
But if you were holding the hearing,
I would have read a little.
I
got a staff of 15 that could have put it in front of me.
Hello.
Let's see here. Okay. Tim Cook, Apple. This is what Apple does. They make phones, boss. We've got Amazon CEO Tim Cook. What do they do? Okay, here's what they do. And the Google CEO Sundar Pichai or whatever. And Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. Congressman, Facebook is that thing. Where you talk to your people and stuff. Oh, he runs Zoom? No. I got to go to the meeting. I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
It's crazy. That's
they're
ridiculous.
Just getting worse and worse, these hearings. They need to stop this mess.
Right.
If they have to have a hearing, have a hearing. That means hear what the people have to say. Don't do a grandstand and say what you want to say. And when the person tries to say something, say, hey, my time. This is my time.
Right.
Well, you know what's really irritating? They have an opportunity to get important information for us.
But they don't.
And
they're not concerned about us. And that's the problem.
I know.
They're concerned about making their constituents happy and getting reelected.
Exactly.
Here.
Horrible.
I agree.
Horrible.
They shouldn't do those. They're useless.
They are useless. How's our friends tuning in here on social media?
Oh, they're chiming in.
Ron and Patrick and Bill, Carol.
The Paul W. Smith Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is July 30th, the 212th day of 2020. There are 154 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. And a gift for all of us is waking up with the team on this, the second to last day of July 2020. Another month that went by like that and also lasted 120 days. Very bizarre, very bizarre, but it is what it is as we move forward through a year that will be completely forgettable and unfortunately unforgettable
Right at
and
the
memorable.
same time.
The team is
Yeah.
here. Thank you, Dick, for the news that you always present as our WJR news director. Dana's here with laughter, mirth, and merriment. Which is sometimes caused by the WJR traffic and weather first that
That's
she
right.
presents to us, movies, restaurants, whatever we've got going on. Brian Morton is back in the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building in a complete hazmat suit and doing just fine, we hope. And Kim is toes up. I ran her around kind of busy yesterday, but she stood by me the whole way, and I appreciate that. And of course, speaking of standing by me now for years and years, our executive producer, Ann Thomas.
Good morning, Deb. Happy Friday Eve.
Friday Eve.
Good.
Eve.
And it's going to be a nice day.
Yes, it is.
So we've got lots going on, Annie. We have an action-packed show, including the governor with she is rolling up the sidewalks up north. And there's but yet opening the doors, limited though they may be, for the casinos. And there's a lot going on, and we'll speak with her about that.
What do you think she will say when you ask her about the fact that there is word that she is one of the 6 who has been vetted?
Yeah, it's like the worst kept secret in the history of womankind is that she was on the list or is on the list. What I really want to ask, and I can't, I don't know. Can I ask this? Should race be an issue? Because if it is an issue, then apparently she's not going to get chosen because it's apparently been decided that it has to be A, a woman, and B, an African-American woman. Have we gotten to that point in our society where you do that sort of thing? I mean, that's as bad as what used to happen, but nobody ever said it. Well, it has to be a white man or whatever it had to be. But now we're saying, well, it has to be an African-American woman.
If you have to ask whether it's an issue, it is.
I guess that's true.
That's good, Dick.
So, I mean, who is going to pay the price for this more than our governor, who apparently by birthright, not by experience, not by what she's accomplished and how many times she's been in elective office or anything else, because she's been a lot, she has experience, but she's
not as much as the other women have. Yeah, but not as much as the other women have. So I'll speak up.
Yeah, but there's one woman in this that has no experience whatsoever and appears
she needs to be out.
A buffoon. I can't even think of her name.
But she don't need to be in there then.
How she's in there just because she's an African-American woman
that's
is
not
embarrassing to African-American women.
Yeah, that's not right.
I can't even think of her name.
You should vote for the best person. And the best person should be represented for all of us, not by color. Now,
glad to hear you say that.
Yeah. Am I going to be mad if an African-American woman gets chosen as VP? No, I'm not. But I want that person to have experience, to know what they're doing, to be smart, and to represent all women, not just African-American women, all women.
I wanted to represent all people.
Yes, that's true. All
because
people.
They're all people, even though men are diminished in importance in our society, and it will get worse, guys. But I've been saying that for a long time. As soon as they figure out a way for the garbage to go out automatically, we're done. We are done. We are out
President
on the street.
Obama was a member of the state legislature in Illinois for 8 years. Then he was a U.S. Senator for 2 years. Actually, Governor Whitmer has more experience than Obama did when he was elected.
Right. Okay. That is correct, sir. And you wonder when you hear some of these Congress people speak, what in the world experience did they have anywhere before they became a congressman?
Yes. And their interviewing skills are
terrible.
Excellent. And they generally read the questions that have been written for them by their staff of 15. They generally read them well, even when they don't understand them well, which we saw with the grilling of the Apple CEO Tim Cook, Amazon CEO Wait a minute. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Who am I missing here? I'm missing one of these guys.
Was
It said
Bezos
here,
there?
Amazon CEO Tim Cook. This is wrong on my list here. From this sheet here from Westwood One.
Was Jeff Bezos there?
Was he there?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is Amazon,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Not
right.
Tim Cook.
Tim
Yes,
Cook goes
it's-
with Apple.
Right.
Cook
He's
of Apple,
on here twice. It
Zuckerberg
says
of Facebook.
It says
and the
Amazon
Google man.
CEO Tim Cook, Google CEO blah blah blah, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. This is just all screwed
The
up.
big four.
Big
Tim
four.
Cook is on here for Apple and for Amazon.
No.
So that's not going to work here. Facebook CEO. Okay. Anyway, whatever. It's as if I'm using the same people. Maybe if the congressman didn't hire the kids of big donors, because that's how they hire their staff now. They go,
To be on their staff.
What's that? I'm sorry.
To be on their staff, yes.
Beyond their staff.
To be on it. To be on
their
staff.
staff.
Kids are working
yeah.
for the Congress
Gotcha.
people.
That's they're not picking the best and brightest all the time for those jobs either. This is a problem. The way this whole thing is set up, it's a house of cards.
It is.
Speaking of casinos with nobody at the table with you,
House of money.
it is.
Who has money to go to the casino?
6:13 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If finding a high-impact hire is a serious goal for your business, use Indeed. Their flexible payment options mean better bang for your buck with no long-term contracts. Indeed will even give you a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post at Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
And at 6:14, we're checking in. We're doing that with our WJR traffic and weather first. Miss Dana Clark.
Unfortunately, Paul W., a couple of accidents popping up. Traffic First sponsored by Liberty Title, protecting property since 1974. A few quick tips from Liberty Title. Cybercrime and identity theft in real estate is a $2 billion industry. Make sure your title company is insured. There is no need for split closing. Use only one title company and never close your transaction in a public place. You have a choice. Choose libertytitle.com. 696 westbound at Drake. This is in Farmington Hills. Accident is blocking the right shoulder. Then in Detroit, Jeffries 96 westbound at Outer Drive. The right shoulder blocked there due to a crash. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Attention new car buyers. Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is offering exclusive lease savings on its entire inventory of new Jeep Compasses, Cherokees, and Grand Cherokees during the Jeep Summer Clearance event. Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Hall Road in Clinton Township. Just show up, sign up, and ride.
Clouds in, but not much fanfare from the clouds. A mostly cloudy sky to start, should be cloudy to finish. We'll make it up to about 83 degrees. Really don't see much of a chance of moisture. There might be a stray shower tonight, 63 as we start to break up the clouds. Nice looking Friday. Some clouds, sunshine, and not too bad, right at 83. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick on News Talk 760 WJR.